TV Timeout. We planned that.
No.
Anyways, here's our TV Timeout is our, what to watch on television section of Epic Handshake. So, have to start off with this. The number one thing I've waited all year for it. It's probably my favorite week of television, Shark Week.
It's everyone's favorite week of television, let's be honest now.
It's literally 7 days of phenomenal television.
Yes.
Again, like I said, I look forward to it every week. I like watching it down. Yeah, every year.
If it was on every week,
it would take away from it a bit.
Yeah, I think so.
And other shows have tried to compare. Like there's Croc Week and stuff like that.
Never gonna
happen.
No way. I love
sharks.
crocodiles. But...
Love crocodiles. Sharks. Absolutely. Everything you want to know about sharks. From the little cute ones that you can keep in fish tanks to the big mamma jammas that can eat you in one bite.
Or the CGI prehistoric ones, which is one of the Shark Week episodes from years back. There's
what's that guy's name?
I forget his name, but he used to be just a videographer for them.
Right.
And then he became like a host of a bunch of Shark Week shows now.
Don't get me wrong, the guy knows his stuff.
He knows his
sharks.
stuff, and he's good, yeah.
But he's got like a John Denver haircut, and in this episode, he's talking about all these prehistoric dinosaurs, and instead of just being like, okay, this is the dinosaur, and he was in this virtual reality tank, and he's like, wow, look at that.
It was just so bad.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
I mean, it was cool to see the CGI of the prehistoric
I guess so,
sharks,
but just him was terrible. Anyways, not to hurt the amazing week that is Shark Week.
It was amazing, just amazingly bad.
Of course,
so,
yeah. If they're going to do it, it's going to be amazing, either good or bad. But what is your favorite part of Shark Week?
I love I love how they've been getting into this like whole hypnosis of sharks the last couple of years. They've been going. I think it was like 2 years ago where they actually there's this lady in the Bahamas, I guess, who she feeds the reef sharks, and as they're coming, she'll grab their nose.
Right.
And she rubs their nose, and they just go into a trance. She turns them over, flips them up. She's like doing all this crazy stuff.
Who first thought of that? Guys, I'm going to go in the middle of a feeding frenzy. I'm going to make that shark fall asleep.
I'm sure it was unintentional.
It had that, or it had to be like a drunken bet. Like I can make that shark stand on its nose. Watch.
You should not be scuba diving if you're drunk.
I agree. He's a dive master over there.
Not dive master.
Yeah.
Advanced underwater.
Ooh.
No, because I don't want to confuse people. Dive master is like a big thing.
All right, so let it go. Okay, so
anyway,
back to
yeah. So she puts these sharks in a trance, and I saw that thing a couple years ago. I thought it was amazing, and then they started doing it with other sharks.
Mm-hmm.
They tried doing it with tiger sharks.
Awesome.
Which I believe they actually got to work, which I guess because the shark has these receptors on its nose,
right,
and you basically overload them. And so the brain doesn't know what to do, so it just shuts down.
Awesome. Imagine if you do that to people.
So they were trying on these tiger sharks, and they were like grabbing the nose of the tiger shark and like hanging on. You know, the tiger sharks are huge,
right?
15 feet. And so eventually they found that no, instead of the front of the nose, you got to grab the sides of the tiger sharks.
I wonder how many people lost hands trying to figure that out.
So eventually they got it, and these tiger sharks, they don't like go near the bottom; they're always near the surface.
Sure.
So they grab it, and then the shark just starts to fall. And they're falling with these things, and they just can't hold on. And the thing's so heavy, and it just sinks, so they gotta let go.
Wow.
But then they progressed to white sharks. And they started trying to do it with white sharks. And that's just, they never got it to work, but...
Well, you've seen them like National Geographic and stuff. They hold their hand over the boat.
Yeah.
And the shark comes out, and if they grab it by the nose,
he just kind of
it'll stop
down, yeah,
and then go back.
But that may have to do with being out of the water too. They don't.
That
know.
could be.
So,
but I mean,
so that's my favorite part. What's your favorite part?
Speaking of white sharks, my favorite part is what they've been doing. They started last year taking great white sharks out of the water.
Yeah.
They go to tag them and track them, because so much is not known about sharks, especially white sharks.
White sharks, yeah.
So they go to this white shark heavy area, and they hook one and they pull it alongside the boat, and this giant lift comes up out of the water and lifts these 20-foot monsters out of the water.
You just see their
and because all the gravity comes in and they look this big blob. But they're they have like 15 minutes to tag it. They get blood samples and everything like that, and then they lower this thing and the shark swims away. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Well, apparently a lot of people did because they made it like a regular show,
right?
Not just
starring Paul Walker.
Well, that was one of my favorite movies. Is Into the Blue, starring Paul Walker.
Great movie, but
apparently after that movie, he got really into like conservation of.
I totally think he was there as like a publicity thing to get more people to watch because every time they lifted a shark, they'd be like, "Go away." Like we need to be here, and he'd be like, "Oh my god, this is so intense."
They didn't really like say like, "Oh, this is Paul Walker." He's they never like made that part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
They're just like, "Oh, this is a celebrity." Like when they showed his name, it was like I remember because I watched the show too, and I like, is that Paul Walker? Like, and they didn't even like recognize
when he's not stealing cars and all that stuff. But, with Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Terrible. So white shark is your favorite?
Yeah, great white sharks are my favorite shark. Watching them jump out of the water with seals.
That's impressive.
That's impressive and amazing. And before I die, I want to touch a great white shark. Not just see one. I want to actually touch it, and because I think they're perfect.
We're gonna go to South Africa on a epic handshake vacation.
Awesome.
One day.
That's an awesome idea.
My favorite is the reef sharks.
Reef shark.
Any
specific reef?
I like the black tip reef shark. Okay. I think they're smaller. They're not like as nothing too impressive. But I just think they are what a shark should look like.
Right.
Like that's the shape of a shark.
Right.
And I just think that they're just so cool looking. So
yeah. They are awesome. Back to other aspects of television. What recently started is Hard Knocks.
With my Miami Dolphins.
With the Miami Dolphins.
Well, my second team. We gotta one day tell people why let me explain right now why my philosophy on two teams.
I'm gonna go leave.
All right, fine. We'll do it another day.
No. Go ahead.
No,
it's I don't like your other team. I don't like your other team.
You don't like any of my teams. But, so anyway, I grew up, my family, me, huge Giants fans, Mets fans, Knicks fans, and Ranger fans. Which every team that he likes is
the opposite.
Rivals. But, anyway.
Yankees, Devils, Cowboys.
So as I grew up, I kind of grew close to other teams as well. I kind of chose my own teams as well.
Okay.
But my heart is still truly with my original teams. So, I kind of, maybe it worked out that way. Maybe I chose them this way, that every one of my other teams is in the complete opposite league. So I don't see any reason that, when they play, I always root for the original teams. Just so we know that.
So if the Giants play the Dolphins, you're a Giants fan.
Absolutely. Okay. Every time.
Okay. I was going to ask you that. Well, if they ever made it to...
So anyway, that's my philosophy on two teams.
So he's a Dolphins fan.
Dolphins are my AFC team.
So HBO decides to follow the Miami Dolphins this year, and they just had their first episode. And I like the show because it gives you an inside look of what actually happens during these training camps. It's not just going in there and practicing for 5 hours and then you're done. There's other things that people don't know. There's meetings, there's team dinners, but there's also like funny stuff where veteran players pick on the rookies and things like that. Stuff you don't really see. And I think what really stood out in this first episode was Chad Ochocinco. He's Chad Johnson again?
Yeah, I think he changed his name.
Back to Chad Johnson? He's hilarious. The show could have been just him. Like, I know he had his own show for a while, but now that he's back in this team setting and stuff with other players and stuff, he's really funny. There's a whole scene where the coaches are in this like private meeting and he just walks into the meeting and sits down. And the coaches are like, Chad, get out of here. This isn't where you're supposed to be. And he goes, all right. He's like, just give me a call when this is over. I'm probably going to go get arrested. Like, who says that? It's so ridiculous. And I think the whole concept of seeing a team for more than just Sundays at 1 o'clock, brings that human element to football.
And it probably helps the NFL a lot. Like, get those other people who kind of don't really watch. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just have it on the background, but maybe this will get them over the fence and like, oh, okay, like I can kind of relate to something they do on the show, and that'll bring them in. Now I heard that I didn't actually watch it yet, believe it or not, but
super fan.
I heard that Chad Ochocinco got ripped in the show because of a press conference he had.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised I didn't bring that up. He said some things in a press conference. I don't know exactly what. I don't remember it exactly, so I'm not going to try and botch it. But a lot of people were really unhappy that he said these things, and players, not so much coaches' staff, but you could see they had that uncomfortable look, and it's just no player is bigger than the game type thing. So if you're going to do stupid shit like that, there's going to be consequences and things.
But that is something that I think could not bring down the show, but kind of bring down the team that's on the show.
Right.
Because, you look at that and, I don't know, that was some of the discussion I've been hearing was that when, you see these coaches and players just cursing and just, doing the stuff they do, and that's not very professional.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that could bring it down.
Right. And that's happened with other teams that have been on Hard Knocks. Every year it changes. But I think HBO's got it right. All those the Hard Knocks, the 24/7 with the boxers and stuff, the Road to the Winter Classic with hockey.
Yeah.
Those weekly documentaries that they do are so good. I can't get enough.
Because people want to see that.
Right.
People want to see that and want to see what it takes. You know what I mean?
The recent one with Pacquiao, just watching him train, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What this guy does on top of so many other things.
Right. He's just an amazing dude.
Awesome dude. But I think HBO highlighting this up and coming team. It's got a lot of new young players and stuff. They got that new quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's got
they have quarterback competition going.
Quarterback, which in my opinion, competition is the best thing for young players, especially with the Jets and stuff that's going on with them right now. We'll talk about that in sports. I just think this is a really positive thing for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They're in a tough division. They, if they get their names out there, they can.
Yeah, they're getting some publicity in a division
that can boost confidence.
That is, I mean, they have so much news is coming out of that division between the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
There's not crazy news coming out of the Patriots or the Bills, but you know that they're going to show up and they're going to have big seasons, so they're going to have a lot of press with them, and the Dolphins are kind of just going to be there. I mean, maybe they'll be able to do something special. I kind of like their team, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Dolphins always had that sense that they just missed something, something was just off to prevent them from
really don't. I mean, maybe this is a sports discussion, but I really am upset they got rid of Tony Sparano, their head coach. But
we'll talk about that more in sports.
Anyway, so that's Hard Knocks. What is an upcoming show that you think that our viewers should
just to set their DVR to?
Set their DVR.
For me, two stand out. Strike Back. I talked about it in the first episode. It's basically Call of Duty live action. It's two, special forces guys just taking down terrorists left or right. That starts up on Sunday the 17th on Cinemax. Highly recommend watching that. You can watch the first season online. Another one is Hell on Wheels, which is kind of like a Western about these people building the Transcontinental Railroad. And it's got that, gangster, Wild West blend that it's a pretty solid show. And for AMC,
they do great shows.
They do great shows. I think that's definitely one if you're looking for another show to add to your DVR.
Well, that's season 2 starting.
Yeah, also season 2.
I think season 1 just came out on Netflix. If anyone.
Oh, nice. Yeah, if you have Netflix, definitely try and watch it. It's really good. Got very good actors, and the storyline is done very well. Any shows for you?
Not really. I mean, I've been just watching a lot of sports lately, a lot of the Olympics and stuff. But watching the Olympics, they keep having commercials for that show Grimm.
Oh, Grimm is a good show. I completely forgot about that. Definitely, if you're, that's what, NBC, ABC?
NBC, yeah.
NBC.
And I know I just talked last week about how NBC's shows have been sucking, but this one actually looked like it piqued my interest. So
Grimm is a fantasy story. It's like the Brothers Grimm, the people who wrote, Hansel and Gretel.
that was a great movie, by the way, with
Matt Damon and Heath Ledger.
Yes.
Very good
If
movie.
anyone hasn't seen it, I recommend it.
All these fantasy monsters in modern times. So werewolves in like Chicago and stuff like that. And this guy Grimm fights them essentially and tries to stop them. Right. It's a pretty solid show. I definitely recommend taking the time and watch that too.
All right,
and that's it
TV Timeout.
for TV Timeout.